Hello everyone and welcome to Drumbeg Studio Podcast. I am Michael Lumbie, and in this week's show we're going to be chatting to special guest musician Sam Appleby, who we recorded and interviewed here in the Drumbeg Studios. He's also going to be giving us a couple of tunes throughout the show as well. But this is HVSK with their fresh self-titled EP track, Descending. Wow, that was incredible. How am I supposed to continue on after that? Wow, sorry. That was HVSK with Descending here on Drumbeg Studio Podcast. That is the title track of their debut EP, which came out just over a month ago. These guys formed back in 2018, and they are an alternative rock band, or pop band you could say, from Perth. 3 members make up HVSK, and they have a wide range of influences and music genres that they take from when they come to write their music, which creates a unique blend of sound. Just want to say, guys, many thanks for letting me play that song on my show. I think it's incredible. I think the EP is incredible, and I'd just like to say it's great to see another incredible band coming out of Perth. All the best, guys, with your future. You can catch the latest gig news that they're going to be doing on their Facebook page, and go and check out that EP. Now it is time to meet this week's special guest.
It hasn't been long, although it's probably taken a while for me to sing this song. I'm either saying I'm sorry to you, or this song's a happy tale of what you and I've been through. We are closer than any friend, and I hope this never ends. And I swear I thought it then, but now I'm scared. 'Cause I still want you by my side, wanna talk through the night. But I promised I would say, if the hour ever came, that I fell out of love.
Joining me this week is special guest musician Sam Appleby.
Good evening.
How are we doing?
Very well, thanks.
It is good evening. I should have said that at the beginning. That's really bad of me. It's a slightly milder night tonight, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit wet and weathery.
It is a bit wet, yeah. So, I want to talk about what life was like growing up and if you had any childhood dreams.
Yeah, so I grew up in mainly in the Highlands near Aviemore.
Mm-hmm.
And I never really thought until actually quite late on about doing music. So actually as a kid I sort of thought about being, I used to draw loads, so I used to thought I was going to be an artist, and then I thought about maybe architecture for quite a few years, and then in high school I sort of really enjoyed maths and physics, so
Right.
I thought that might end up
Going to be a scientist.
I thought I might end up going into that,
Mm-hmm.
but no, here I am studying music.
Yeah. So what age? So you started on piano.
I started learning piano, at about, my mum and dad are both somewhat musical, and so they sort of taught me the little bits when I was maybe 6, like what fingers
Mm-hmm.
to use. And then I started lessons when I was 7.
So there was a piano in the house when you were growing up, yeah?
Yeah, there was a piano about, I started lessons at 7, and it was classical. I was classically trained, but I really struggled with sight reading, so I always just learnt stuff by ear and then would play it by memory, and I just never really got the hang of sight reading.
Yeah. No, it's very similar to myself. And I sort of got to the stage from my piano lessons where I sort of was throwing the book aside and started to bring my own songs and get them developed instead, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I know the notes and I know the theory, but who's got time for reading music? So after you'd started learning piano, you then picked up the guitar and you also did bagpipes as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I think I was about 10 when my primary school had a pipe tutor come in and offer bagpipe lessons. So I just decided to go for it. I thought it'd be a really cool thing to be able to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was my dad had always played a bit of guitar since he was a teenager, actually. Played a bit of guitar, and so I'd sort of learnt a couple of chords off him or so, but
Right.
actually it was not till I was maybe 12 till I actually asked him, can you teach me that song or whatever, and he taught me my first couple of songs.
Mm-hmm. So were you self-taught for guitar?
Completely self-taught, yeah. I still haven't really had a formal guitar lesson. I had group guitar lessons at uni for the first year.
Mm-hmm. Do you still play pipes today?
I do sometimes, yeah. I actually play with my current cover band. I play the small pipes when we do Kaylee stuff.
Right,
we
okay.
we offer a little bit of Kaylee stuff when we're doing weddings or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so I still play then, and I occasionally busk outside Murrayfield when there's a rugby game.
Yeah, good for you.
But
It's more of an outdoor instrument, the bagpipes, aren't
yeah,
they?
it's not really one you can practice in the flat.
No.
Yeah.
You mentioned cover bands, but you were part of a cover band when you were still back in living in the Highlands.
Yeah, so we actually played for many years together, especially a core 3 of us. One of my mates, Dylan, who lived across the road, played drums. Another friend in the village played bass. And so we just started jamming together when I was about 14.
Mm-hmm.
And Mostly covers. Started off with some sort of a strange mix of folky and poppy stuff, and then sort of went more into sort of covering indie pop sort of classics,
Right,
Arctic
okay.
Monkeys, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then wrote some original stuff on the side and recorded it on GarageBand and that kind of thing. And actually, looking back on some of it, it was pretty good, but we just never got around to completing it or releasing it.
Did you do much gigging with that band?
We, I mean, the Strathspey music scene isn't really booming, so unless you're a Cayley band or like a solo acoustic artist, there isn't really much there for you to get.
Mm-hmm.
We did get a little bit. We used to sometimes go up to the pub in our wee village and just phone up on the Friday night and ask if we could play the Saturday, and the guy Mike was always keen to have us because we'd always bring an extra few people. So we used to just go up there sometimes and play just for the fun of it. And then it was sort of the summer before I left for uni, we started getting a bit more gigs. We used to get 1 or 2 gigs. For a few years, we got 1 or 2 gigs around the time of the Aviemore Harley Davidson Festival.
Right, okay.
At wherever. And then the last year, we were actually lucky to play on the big stage at the Cairngorm Hotel there, which is sort of the main stage there. And then we played at a few, like, couple of private birthdays and gala days, so a couple of outdoor gigs and things, and it was good fun.
I suppose there's not many pickings up there. You just got to take what you can get.
Yeah,
really,
exactly. For an indie rock band, Aviemore's not really the place to kickstart the career.
No
worries
fantastic. And it's not just going to sit in the corner gathering dust. So we're going to get first song from you now. What are you going to play for us?
I'm going to play a tune that I wrote actually a long time ago. One of the sort of early songs that I wrote by myself that wasn't a band song that I'm so happy to play. So yeah, it's a bit of an old one for me, but it's called Hard to Know. Between two things, you know, my head's a mess, my heart's not sure, and it's so hard to know. I guess I don't have to decide. I wanna do what I think is right, and it's so hard to know, hard to know. It's so hard to know, I can't decide which flow with which to go. It's so hard to know, and it's so hard to know, and it's so hard to know, I can't decide which flow with which to go. So hard to know, it's so hard to know. Wise man once said, all good things come to an end, and it's so hard to know. I wish I didn't have this choice and try to speak, I lose my voice, and it's so hard to know, hard to know. It's so hard to know, I can't decide which flow with which to go. It's so hard to know, and it's so hard to know. It's so hard to know, I can't decide which flow with which to go. It's so hard to know, and it's so hard to know. It's so hard to know, I can't
which flow with which to go. It's so hard to know. It's so hard to know.
Well done, yeah. That was incredible.
Thanks very much. Thank you.
It sounded just as good in these cans, or you better use the official word, as I'm sure it did in this room. Well done, yeah.
Thanks very much.
So you then moved down to Edinburgh.
Yeah.
Where you're now currently studying music.
That's right.
And you then formed a function band called Giant.
Yeah, so we got contact through uni from an agency called Music for Scotland that do cover bands for like corporate functions and weddings.
Mm-hmm.
So they contacted the uni and asked if there was any bands that were sort of willing to pitch. So then me and a few other guys sort of got together and were like, well, this could be quite a nice thing to do for a bit of pocket money as well. While we're at uni, a nice little weekend earner if it gets going. So then we got together and there was a sort of audition gig a couple of months after the original contact at a pub in Edinburgh where 4 different bands played a half-hour set, and from there the agency sort of spoke to each of the bands and
made their judgment.
Or told them where they needed to go.
So I want to talk about your latest single, Relative Love, if you don't mind.
Not at all.
And I must mention that we did play this song on one of our previous shows.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. We might maybe hear it again tonight, then. Huh? So yeah, how's the single going, and how did it all come about?
It's going really well. I mean, I actually wrote it and recorded it way back. I mean, we're recording this now in November, and it was finished in June.
Right.
But for all the promotion and uploading it to the distributor and stuff, I wanted a sort of good month of build-up time, and I went away for a bit during the summer and then got caught up with a lot of things when I got back, and actually just got frustrated with how delayed it got, and finally ended up getting it ready sort of mid-September, and then originally set the release date for the 1st of November, but then I sort of had this idea of doing a launch night on the day of the release, a nice personal night where people could come along and just see me and a few others play. So I ended up delaying the release actually for another couple of weeks, so it was released on November 12th, so that I could coincide that with the launch night.
So who did you get to play at your launch night then?
So there was Molly Hall was one of the supports, who you had on here.
We have, yeah, well mentioned, yeah.
And Connell Adam was another guy. So he was a guy I know him through my courses in my year, and is sort of similar to myself, like acoustic singer-songwriter sort of thing.
We've had him on one of our previous shows as well.
Is that right?
We haven't physically had him, but we've played some of his music.
Yeah.
Cracking singer, that guy, yeah.
Yeah, so he was really good. So they both did really well actually, and it was a really good crowd, nice and personal. So yeah, it was a really good night, really good way to set it off.
Yeah, definitely. Good send-off. So you very kindly going to play us another song.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, you're not going out that door until you've played another one. Just as you come all the way down from Edinburgh. Anyway, joking aside, what are you going to play for a second?
I'm going to play the new single, Fell Out of Love. So I mean, now, time of recording, it was only a couple of weeks ago that it was released, less than that. So yeah, it's hopefully still fresh in my memory.
Let's hope it's still fresh in the listeners' memories as well, because it was only just a couple of weeks ago that they would have heard it as well. So.
It hasn't been long, although it's probably taken a while for me to sing this song. I'm either saying I'm sorry to you, or all this song's a happy tale of what you and I've been through. We are closer than any friend, and I hope this never ends. And I swear I thought it then, but now I'm scared. 'Cause I still want you by my side, wanna talk through the night. But I promised I would say, if the hour ever came that I fell out of love. Oh, the last thing I would wanna do, darling, please believe me, is hurting you. I just wanna do what's right, I'll always be there by your side. Oh, the last thing I would wanna do, darling, please believe me, is hurting you. I just wanna do what's right, I'll always be there by your side. It hasn't been long, although it's probably taken a while for me to sing this song. I'm not saying I'm sorry to you, 'cause this song's a happy tale of what you and I've been through. We are closer than any friend, and I hope this never ends. And I swear I thought it then, but I'm not scared. 'Cause I still want you by my side, wanna talk through the night. But I promised I would say, and the hour never came, that I fell out of love.
Yeah, well done, you.
Thanks very much.
It's funny, I want to just say, when I first heard this song, I could really hear it with a full sort of backing band in it.
Yeah.
Especially when it builds up for the bridge, which
Yeah,
is,
yeah.
you know, the single as it is, when you've got the strings in there, it just really adds to it. It's incredible.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's funny actually you say, because that was always sort of the vision that I had in for that song, was quite stripped back and acoustic, and then big massive bridge. But actually, I'm planning to put it on an EP or an album next year, and I think for that I'm gonna do something a bit different. Probably re-record it, because I did the single live, not to click or anything, and then did all the instruments after that. But I want to do a version that's a bit more full band, like full backing band kind of thing, which I think would be good fun.
Yeah. So we've almost come to the end of this fantastic interview.
Yeah.
But after the success of your latest single, what does the future hold for you now?
I mean, I really have no idea. I mean, I'd like to. I always aim pretty high. So, I mean, like, the dream is get offered an amazing deal. Don't have to finish uni, before the end of that. I've still got 2.5 years left. But the dream would be to make it big as a performer sometime soon. But so at the moment, I'm sort of just chipping slowly away at that, as well as trying to keep up with uni and everything like that. I imagine after uni, I quite like sound engineering, so I can easily see myself going into a job as a sound engineer at a live venue, or
if any live ones come out and I don't want them, you can have them.
Pass me on the live gigs.
Pass you on the live gigs. Like, couldn't even work like working like a theatre gig. Like, oh, it would just be too much.
No, having as a cover band in the Highlands, I mean, we had my dad had a lot of gear, but we also we reinvested all our gig money into getting our own gear.
Right. Okay.
So and actually we used to do Hogmanay in our little village, which is always probably one of the highlights of the year. And did that for 3 years in a row, and that was quite well paid. So every year we would reinvest that into getting more gear. So we actually had quite a lot of our own live gear, and because it was almost none of them were venues, they were all just places with, I mean, you'd be lucky if you got a small platform.
Right.
Some of the platforms we squeezed onto were tiny for a 4-piece band. Our drummer had a big drum kit with a big fat kick drum, and I remember there was one venue that we were at in Aviemore. It was for somebody's 60th birthday party, and it was actually a really good gig. It was really good fun. But we were all squeezed onto this tiny little. You could barely. It wasn't a stage. It wasn't. It was a large step. It was a large step.
Right.
and it was just. I mean, you couldn't move for there was like cable streams either side of your feet, and I mean, we were lucky that. None of us used big pedal boards because it just wouldn't have been able to fit. But yeah, having been in that scene, we did all our own live sound. So we actually learnt pretty well, fairly young, to do our own live sound, and it actually sounded pretty good. There was one outdoor gig we did where some guy, I don't remember where he was from, somewhere way up, like Thurso or Wick or something, came up to us and complimented us on the sound and said he was actually a sound engineer himself. And I think that was one of the biggest compliments we had. Like, people told us all the time that we were quite good at music, but we were like, we have no idea what we're doing. That is some compliment. So we spent quite a lot of time fiddling with that. We'd take a long time to set up, but I'd say I quite enjoyed it. It was me and the drummer who enjoyed it. The other two sort of set up and pissed off.
Well, I mean, I suppose that's the problem with doing sound checks and all this sort of stuff, is that you kind of got to be on stage, but you suppose you just got to just kind of get you to just do this and this. And
yeah. And we didn't really have an order that we do things, or we just sort of, we just played it by ear every time. And I mean, I guess that's sort of a good way to do it, because if it sounds good, it is good. But thinking back now, we could have been more efficient, but actually what we ended up with was usually fairly good. In the latter years, I've seen videos of us at like our very first gig after our first few months, where we just played a few songs at my dad's birthday party, actually. And it's awful. It's really bad. I mean, I was 14. Me and two of the others were 14. Our drummer was 12. Mind you, he was probably one of the better ones. But it just wasn't great. It really wasn't great. Nobody could have seen anything like promising coming from that, I'm sure. But 5 years later, I think we were pretty good. Yeah.
Well, as you said, I mean, you had the budget to spend on equipment. You wouldn't be wanting to spend that on hiring someone to be doing it. As you said, you learned a very good skill you learned on the job. And
and we've still got that gear now, and it still gets used. So actually, I was glad we reinvested it rather than, a bit more pocket money.
Yeah. Well, thanks very much. That's been great getting you on.
Pleasure.
Hope you've enjoyed yourself.
Thanks very much. I have indeed.
There's been some good laughs in there, and we all learn from the mistakes, and we go just go like that, go up the way. Yeah, many thanks.
Hopefully up way. Yeah.
Well, there you go. A big thank you to Sam Appleby for giving that fantastic opportunity to come out to the studio and record that incredible interview. That was great to get it down here, and for also him to bring along his guitar and give us a couple of tunes as well was just a bonus. Many thanks, Sam, coming all the way up from Edinburgh. All the best with your future. You can check out all the latest stuff that he's going to be doing on his Facebook page. Check out his latest single, Fell Out of Love, available up on the digital media platforms of today. Well, that's it for this week. Join me next time for my next special guest and a bit of a festive treat. See you then.
Drum Bag Studio Podcast.